Man shed fixes. So this is Actis Hybris insulation. Really easy to cut. I'm not going to show you that. But fitting, I didn't find too much information on. So that is a 150 stud. Well, finishes at about 145. This is 105 Actis. Gives a really good U value for the size. In the other room I fitted a mixture of 140, 155 stuff I found cheap on Facebook, I think it was, or wherever, and it went in really snug, which was nice. But then I learnt that it works better if it's got an air gap, 2 air gaps. So you fit it, which I'll show you in a sec, cut it, fit it, and then it should look like this. You push it all the way back. I was kind of going in at the corners with 2 hands, one on each side, like that, just pushing it in gently. You don't want to crush it, because that's the idea of it. I haven't got a cut bit, but you know what it is if you're trying to use it, or you're going to use it. I will staple these bits over where it comes and hits the noggins. I will bring that over with the top bit as well, and then staple it up the top as well. Some of the bags look a bit because that's how it is. It's just the top part is a bit shorter than the bottom part. So I will do that in a sec. You can see my corners there. Right, and here comes a helper.
What?
There we are. Right, so
should I get a tripod?
So how to cut it: old saw, get the angle grind on it, get all the teeth off. Can you see it? So it looks a bit like that. Yeah. Yeah, so you just get an angle grind on it, cut all the teeth off. You don't want it too sharp, or not sharp. You want it sharp, but you don't want the teeth on it, because the teeth grab hold of the multi-layer fabric in there. Yeah, so make sure this is all level, if you could. Nice. Bring it back up. And I forgot the size I was supposed to cut it. Forgotten the size. Stop there and let me make that. So 360 is the size I needed. Always measure twice, cut once. So 360 is out there. Oh, I've got a mark on there anyway, and there's some of my joists or studs. Just a little bit. You've got the size. Can you see from the top? Yeah. Go across like this. Try to hold it. That's it. Right, and there we go. See? There we go. Okay, thanks Harris, and thanks Stefan. So there's the 4. And up. And like that. So copper foil face inwards. We'll do the bottom one. It's on with dustiness of that, to be honest. Just a bit of used stuff is a bit dirty. Right, so I kind of come close, I think that's it. And there we go. Can you see what I'm doing with my hands? So just kind of bending in and then pushing. So it's a nice snug bit like that. You get to the bottom, and then once it's in, I'm going to make sure the top has its cover by pulling it up and then pushing it against the fabric of the should touch the fabric. So this is your first air gap here. Then I'll staple that top bit up when I'm ready. Do you get it? There's a bit of wood in the way there. There, that's that. And then we'll get the next one. Make sure they're all out, all the way. And copper face in. I will fit it a bit better. Should have been probably cut this a bit too. No, it's just not too bad. That will go over the top, and I'll staple that, and that will act. That will join on at the top, Harris. That will join on to the vapor barrier that we'll put in, and it will totally encapsulate this whole thing. Yeah. So, well, when we put the control layer on, there's going to be another that barrier that. Thank you. That foil that we did in the other room will go on, and that will form the barrier. Yeah. That one's in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go do. Adam, do you mind moving that hammer and that tape up there, doesn't it? Just anywhere on that floor. Right. You see? So we do that. And that. And then put the bottom one in first. So these ones I pushed in halfway yesterday evening. I think it allowed the fabric, the multi-layer fabric, can you see, to expand a little bit overnight, and then I pushed it in the second time. It felt a bit snugger, and it just felt like it remained not the out, but I don't think it matters. I think I'm just. So I'll bring this down, and again, can you see this DPC here? The idea is once we get all this in, we'll cut that on the ends and offer it up and then staple it, so it acts as another almost like a draft excluder, you know, the gaps where there is in the timber and all that, will stop that, or hopefully stop that. So you can see that goes in nicely. I'm not pushing on the face of it like that. It pushing on the sides carries it, and it keeps that bit on the face pretty. There we go. Bring that down there. That will go up there like that. I'll staple all that up in a bit. I'm done. And then these smaller ones here, Harris, not me, here, we'll fill these ones up with PIR. Should have got rid of that. I will get rid of that actually, I don't need that anymore. Another one down there, just so it doesn't interfere. So, there we are, the Actis Hybris fitted. This is a 150 stud, 6-inch. And the Actis is 105, so it fits in quite nicely. I've stapled it here, it's middle and at the top and at the bottom, and you can see a DPC that I've put there, which I'll lift up and staple that into position, and that just helps with stopping any air gaps or plugging any of those air gaps along the bottom there. Yeah, really easy to fit. The R control, which I've got here, will go on top of that and stapled every 50mm or so. And then the gap between the R control and this gives us the air gap across the front there. And then I think the secondary air gap is once I put the 38x38 stud on top of the R control, and then the plasterboard goes on top of that. There's another air gap there as well. So apparently with 105 Actis, I think it comes down to, with the R control and the reflective membrane I've got, I think it's 0.16, which seems to be really good. But yeah, easy to fit, no mess, no dust, and it goes in really easily. Did this room with the boys in what, an hour, 2 hours, hour and a half, something like that, and that was in between. So yeah, especially if you get the 105, that's 5 square meters, 5.5 square meters in each pack, and each time you cut you have 4 of these sections to plug. So you can imagine by the time you've cut a pack by 3, you got 15, so you've pretty much got that whole thing to fit in at the top. There we go. Oh, and that's what it looks like when it's finished, and once it's stapled together. Bits to do there on that window. Adios. Now onto the Actis R control, I think this is. So this is the one on the inner face, the one you can see up there, over there. So I've laid it out in here, rather than trying to staple it on the wall, which I did with that, and wrapping it around a corner. I'm going to cut it into the corner. It just feels like a nicer or a better fitting product, and I'll have to tape up the ends and join them all up. I'll leave enough for that, but it does feel like the batten will fit into the corner better when that's done. So I laid it out here. So I actually got this other guy on, I think it was Facebook, something like that. He just wanted to get rid of it. Well, how many rolls did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls, or 3.5 rolls. He didn't want anything for it. He just wanted it out of his polytunnel. So I've laid it out here just to give me a bit of room, and it was a little bit wet, but it's dry now. It was only damp, but it's free, and they're about 100 quid a roll. So yeah, bargain. So I'm going to cut this up, marked it up. There, as you can see, excuse the footwear, it's not exactly site control, but it is my site. So I'm going to cut that up and then offer it up and nail it, staple it every 15mm from one corner out to keep it nice and taut. So I'll show you how that goes in a sec. Oh, and you need a decent pair of scissors, not tailoring scissors, not kitchen scissors. You need something like that. Pretty pricey for a pair of scissors, but I tell you what, and I'm left-handed, so these are pretty immense. They seem to cut through it like butter. Really good pair, and it makes it a breeze. You're not catching it. I think you can possibly cut it with a Stanley blade. I tried, and the blade's just not long enough, so it catches, and it just becomes a nuisance. Scissors, way to go. Keep it taut, keep it flat, and there's no issue. Yeah. Okay, nice and easy. I think they're getting a bit blunt, to be honest. I've used them a fair bit now, but still seem to cut. But it is, if you look at the layers, and this is just on the inside. So that's why it seems to be pretty good. So it's a vapor barrier, and reflective, so it does a lot, and it stops the cold bridging coming through the stud. So yeah, I think it also, I forgot what they call it, when it takes, how long it takes for the sun to heat up a place or the place to cool down. I can't remember, but it's supposed to help with that as well.